Rutabaga, and Rutabaga once again. What's up, 23% Nation? This is your man, Coach D. Today, I'm back with vegetable of the day, the one and only Rutabaga. So maybe you think this is actually a turnip. Maybe you eat them all day, every day. Maybe you've never heard of it before, tasted it before, or seen it before. Well, guys, whatever the case may be, please listen and watch on. Why? Because we're about to dive just a little deeper into the wonderful world of the Rutabaga. All right, first up, a little bit of background information. So a lot of people are probably wondering, Coach D, what in the world is a Rutabaga? Actually, I've never heard of one before, so please enlighten me. So guys, rutabagas are a root vegetable. That's right, guys. Just like the potato, just like a beet, it's a root vegetable in the mustard family, cultivated for their edible fleshy roots as well as their edible leaves. Now, for those of us that are wondering what in the world does a rutabaga look like, well, guys, just take a look at the picture. As you can see, the rutabaga is the bulbous root that grows underground, whereas the green leaves stay above ground. Now the question is, are the leaves edible? Well, hang on. Why? Because I'll let you know in a few more slides. All right, more background information. Did you know that rutabagas are also known as the Swedish turnip, the wax turnip, a Swede, and it's also known as a neep. That's right, guys, N-E-E-P. So, if you ever come across a neep, a Swede, a wax turnip, or a Swedish turnip, then you automatically know it's the same thing as a rutabaga. All right, more background information. Now, here's something that's very, very interesting, is that rutabagas most likely originated as a cross between a turnip and a wild cabbage. Wow, who knew? So guys, take a look at the picture. On the left, we have a cabbage. On the right, we have a turnip. And when you combine them, what do you get? A good old rutabaga. So there we have it, guys. A little more background information about the one and only rutabaga. All right, more background information. Now, some of us may already be aware of this, but I think most people are not. Guys, check it out. There are several common varieties of rutabagas. Now, here are the top three. Number one would be the American purple top. Then we have the Laurentian. And lastly, we have the Joan rutabaga. So, in case you're wondering, what do they look like? Well, take a look at the picture. Now, as to which is which, honestly, I don't know. But I do believe that all three major types are shown here. So there we have it, guys. A little bit of background information about the one and only rutabaga and its types. All right, now it's time for a few fun facts. The word rutabaga comes from the Swedish word Rutabaga. Now, I believe that's how you pronounce it. If I'm wrong, guys, let me know. The first known printed reference to the rutabaga comes from the Swiss botanist Gaspard Bauhin in 1620, where he noted that it was growing wild in Sweden. Interesting. The rutabaga is believed to have originated in Scandinavia or Russia. That's right. Now, for those of us that are wondering, what in the world does Mr. Gaspard look like? Well, guys, take a look at the picture. There you see him, right? Swedish, right? Long beard, yes. And he even wore chains around his neck. How nice. So there we have it, guys. A few fun facts about the one and only rutabaga. All right, now it's time for more fun facts. Apparently, rutabagas are not just for eating, but can also be used for sport. Oh, now this is interesting. Since 1998, the International Rutabaga Curling Championship takes place at the Ithaca Farmers Market on the last day of the market season every year. Wow. only rutabagas are allowed to be used. So don't even think of showing up with a turnip or any other root vegetable. Now, guys, take a look at the picture. I definitely had to do a little bit of research on this, and as it turns out, this is actually true. Okay, so it's an annual occurrence, and it looks like a lot of people participate in it. Now, if you look at the winners stand, it's probably something more for kids because it looks like the winners are kids, but the adults definitely believe in it. So the next time you are in probably at the Ithaca Farmers Market, you never know, you just may stumble upon the International Rutabaga Curling Championship. So there we have it, guys. A few more fun facts about the one and only rutabaga. All right. Now, if you are at all interested in purchasing and eating rutabagas, then I believe these next fun facts will be of interest to you. A lot of people want to know, Coach D, where can I purchase a rutabaga? Well, guys, let's find out. You can find them in the vegetable section of your nearest grocery store. That's right. They can be found year-round, but some stores might only have them when they are in season, which is basically during the fall or the springtime. Now, take a look at the picture. As you can see, whichever grocery store this is, they place the rutabagas right next to all of the other root vegetables. That's right. So yes, you will find them near the turnips. You will find them near the parsnips. You will find them near the beets and carrots. That's right. So there we have it. More fun facts about the one and only rutabaga. All right, more fun facts. Now, a lot of people say, okay, so Coach D, I know exactly where to purchase them when I go into the store. But now that I'm in the store, how do I select a rutabaga? After all, I do want to make sure it's nice, right? So guys, here are some things to keep in mind when selecting a rutabaga. When purchasing one, make sure to choose one that feels firm, smooth, and heavy for its size. Avoid rutabagas with cracks, punctures, deep cuts, or decay. If a rutabaga feels soft or spongy, then you definitely don't want to choose that one because it's probably old and possibly rotting. Wow, there you go, guys. So the next time you're in the mood to shop for rutabagas, right, just make sure it's firm, make sure it's smooth, and make sure it's heavy. So there we have it, guys. We now know exactly how to select our rutabagas. All right, more fun facts. Okay, so Coach D, now that you told me where to purchase them, now that you've told me how to select them, now that I've got it home, I need to know how to store it, right? So here we go. You can store them at room temperature for about 1 week or up to 2 weeks in the refrigerator. If the greens are still attached, remove them and store them separately in the refrigerator if you plan on eating them as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, that answers one of our previous questions. Can we eat the greens from the rutabaga? And the answer is yes. So, the next time you purchase a rutabaga, maybe find one that has the leaves on them. Cut them off, put the rutabaga in the refrigerator, and go ahead and maybe make a stir fry with the leaves. Who knows? All right. So there we have it, guys. More fun facts about the one and only rutabaga. All right. Now it's time for the not so fun facts. Here we go. Since the rutabaga is a cruciferous vegetable, it contains raffinose, which is a complex sugar that can sometimes cause abdominal discomfort, bloating, and flatulence. There is methane-producing bacteria in the colon that feeds on raffinose. And for some people, this process can result in the release of gas. That's right, guys. So if you are at all confused by any of this text, basically what this is saying is that if you eat rutabagas, then chances are you're going to end up farting. That's right. So beware. Okay, guys. Now, some of us are probably a little more scientific, and we probably are interested in seeing what the chemical structure of raffinose looks like. So take a look at the picture. Now, for those of us who are more interested in biochemistry, you can see that raffinose, it is a complex carbohydrate, and it is made up of simple carbohydrates such as galactose, glucose, and fructose, which, by the way, are the three monosaccharides that are very, very important when it comes to human nutrition. So there we have it, guys, the not so fun facts about the one and only rutabaga. All right, more not so fun facts. If, and I repeat, if you are allergic to turnips, cabbage, spinach, or any other cruciferous vegetables, consult a physician before adding rutabaga to your diet. An allergy to rutabaga is not common, but if you experience any symptoms of food allergies, then you should discontinue consumption of rutabaga and seek medical attention. And you may want to get a shirt that says, "I'm allergic to rutabaga," right? So guys, as it turns out, there are some people who are allergic to this root vegetable. So if that's you, then of course you may want to either reduce your consumption or talk to a medical professional about your different options. So there we have it, guys. More not so fun facts about the one and only rutabaga. All right, it's time to dive into the 520 rule. Ladies and gentlemen, the 520 rule is all about food labels. That's right. It helps us to understand and read food labels. Ultimately, it's a guide. It's a guide that lets us know whether or not a food or beverage item is a good source or not a good source of any particular nutrient. Now, when we talk about the 520 rule, really what we're talking about is percent daily value, abbreviated percent DV. Now, let's take a look at our sample food label. As you can see, it is divided into three main parts: purple, yellow, and blue. So let's discuss it part by part by part. First, let's talk about the percent daily value column in purple. So as you can see, percent DV is basically represented as a percentage. That's right. And it has a scale or a slide that goes from as low as 0% to as high as 100%. Now, there are some very rare cases where a food or beverage item may offer a percent DV that is in excess of 100%, but usually that's rare. Now, let's talk about the yellow portion. The yellow portion highlights a few nutrients that unfortunately do the body harm. So when we talk about saturated fat, trans fat, cholesterol, and sodium, well, those are the nutrients that unfortunately can predispose the body to sickness, illness, and disease. So the next time you eat or drink something, you probably want to make sure that the percent DVs for those nutrients are as close to 0% as possible. Notice that it says limit these nutrients, and for good reason. Now let's talk about the blue portion. The blue portion highlights dietary fiber, vitamin A, vitamin C, calcium, and iron. Well, here's the good news. These nutrients do just the opposite of the yellow nutrients. Rather than promote disease, sickness, and illness, they promote wellness and health within the body temple. So the next time you eat or drink something, you probably want to make sure that the percent DVs are as close to 100% as possible. That's why it says get enough of these nutrients. Now, the last thing that I want to point out about our sample food label is the quick guide to percent DV. Notice that it says 5% or less is low, 20% or more is high. Well, guys, you know me, right? I love specificity as opposed to things being too general. So here's what I'd like to offer to you today. If a food or beverage item offers 0% to 9% DV of any nutrient, then that food or beverage item is not a good source of that particular nutrient. If a food or beverage item offers 10% to 19% DV of any nutrient, right, then that food or beverage item is considered a good source of that particular nutrient. Lastly, if a food or beverage item offers 20% DV or greater, then that food or beverage item is considered an excellent source of that particular nutrient. So there we have it, guys, the ins and outs about the 5-20 rule. All right, it's now time to dive into the nutrition facts. So for today's lecture, we're going to say that a single serving of rutabaga is equal to one small rutabaga, weighing approximately 192 grams. Now, if we were to sit down and eat a complete serving, we would consume the following. Number 1, 71 calories. Great. Carbs comes in at about 17 grams. Now, that's only a 5% DV, so it's obviously not a good source of carbohydrates. Next up is protein, coming in at 2.1 grams. How nice is that? Now, here's the sad part, is that the average person is totally unaware that vegetables contain protein. Well, guys, I'm here to let you know that they actually do. And the body uses this protein to produce antibodies, to grow hair, and to build muscle. That's right. So eat your vegetables. Now, it is worth noting that a single serving of rutabaga is only going to provide us 4% DV for protein. So unfortunately, it is not a good source of protein, but it's still there nonetheless. Next, fiber comes in at 4.4 grams per serving, which is equivalent to 17.6% DV, right? So obviously, a serving of rutabaga is a good source of fiber. That's right. Now, if you've been following Coach D for a while, you know that I like to consider fiber nature's plumber. What do I mean by that? Well, it keeps your tubes clean, right? It helps clear plaque and cholesterol from your arteries, and it also helps to clear toxins and waste from your colon. That's right. That's why I call it nature's plumber. Moving on. Now we have vitamin C coming in at 80% DV, excellent source. Potassium coming in at 16.7% DV, good source. Then we have vitamin B6 coming in at 10% DV, good source. Next up is magnesium coming in at 9.5% DV, not a good source. Calcium 8.3% DV, not a good source. Niacin coming in at 6.7% DV, not a good source. Then we have zinc coming in at 3.1% DV, not a good source. And lastly is iron coming in anywhere from 2 to 4% DV, not a good source. So there we have it, guys, the nutrition facts about the one and only rutabaga. All right, now that we've covered the nutrition facts, we gotta dive into the health benefits. But before we do, I want to offer you this. Ladies and gentlemen, let's very quickly talk about the principle of cause and effect, which basically states that every cause has its effect and every effect has its cause. There really is no such thing as chance and or luck. In other words, everything happens for a reason. That being said, I want to let you know that if you are currently healthy, then guess what? You caused it. And it's the same thing with disease. If you have a disease, well, yeah, chances are you caused that too, right? So for today's purpose, I not only want to let you know what the health benefits are, but it's very important that we understand the cause of these health benefits, which are basically caused by the phytonutrient content of the rutabaga. That's right. Now, some people will say that these phytonutrients are medicines, and you would be absolutely correct in saying that. So let's discuss the health benefits. Number 1, rutabagas help prevent cancer. Oh my God, isn't that amazing, right? So now the question is, which phytonutrient in the rutabaga is responsible for preventing cancer? Well, guys, say hello to the glucosinolates. Okay, that's how you pronounce that word. Benefit number 2, improves digestion. Well, we already know from the previous slide that rutabagas contain fiber. So fiber is the cause, whereas improving digestion is the effect. Benefit number 3, it lowers the risk of a stroke. Sounds good to me. So the question is, which nutrient in a rutabaga is responsible, right? What's the cause? What's the medicine? Well, say hello to potassium. Benefit number 4, rich in powerful antioxidants. Now, remember something. Antioxidants are amazing. Why? Because they help to deactivate free radicals. That's right, guys. So now the question is, what's the phytonutrient? What's the medicine? What's the cause? Well, say hello to the carotenoids. And benefit number 5 is that rutabagas boost the immune system. That is amazing, right? And so the question now is, what's the phytonutrient responsible? Well, guys, say hello to vitamin C. So there we have it, 5 amazing health benefits from the one and only rutabaga. All right, now it's time to talk about food, but specifically plant foods. Now, as always, I'm doing my research. I'm looking for plant-based recipes to share with you guys, right? So for this video, I thought it would be a good idea to kind of stray away from our go-to website for everything vegan, which, by the way, is forksoverknives.com. So today, I thought I'd present to you a new website, and it's called onegreenplanet.com. Now, as usual, I did my research and I came across 2 delicious looking plant-based rutabaga recipes that I want to share with you right now. So the first one is entitled Cheesy Rutabaga Casserole, yummy, and the second is rutabaga fries with basil mayo. Take a look at that picture. Looks delicious, right? Could be a snack for the little ones, right? Now, guys, if you are at all interested in making and tasting these dishes, all you have to do is click on the description box. I'm providing you with a direct link to both of these recipes, which is going to provide you with a lot of great information, such as an ingredient list and, of course, cooking instructions. So, if you are hungry and you want to know what rutabagas taste like, well, guys, do me a favor. Click on the link, make the dish, taste the dish, come back to the video and share your thoughts. So there we have it. Not 1, but 2 amazing plant-based rutabaga recipes from onegreenplanet.com. All right, 23% Nation, I hear you. A lot of you say, Coach D, thanks for the fun facts, the not so fun facts, and the nutrition facts. But what I really want to know is, when should I eat more rutabaga? Well, guys, if that's your question, then I got to tell you that the perfect day to eat more rutabaga is Nature Day. That's right, guys, good old Nature Day. Now, Nature Day is very interesting. Why? Because it's the first day of the 23% challenge. Now, a lot of people may be living under a rock, and maybe you've never heard of the 23% challenge before. Well, if that's you, then allow me to explain. The 23% challenge is a monthly 7-day wellness program that is designed to help improve your health, your wealth, your relationships, and it also helps to save good old planet Earth. Now, here's the thing. Number 1, the challenge is monthly, meaning every month, January through December, and it's also only 7 days. As a matter of fact, it's the first 7 days of every single month, the 1st through the 7th. Now, being that Nature Day is the first day of the challenge, that simply means that Nature Day is the first day of every month. So whether it's October 1st, November 1st, or December 1st, it's always Nature Day. All right, 23% Nation. A lot of you say, well, Coach D, Nature Day sounds interesting. I want to know what it's all about, right? Well, guys, in a nutshell, Nature Day is simply about eating more plants and also drinking more water. That's right, plants and water. Now, for some people, eating more plants and drinking more water is very, very difficult. However, for others, it's very, very simple. Now, for those of us who think it's difficult, you may want to try this. How about you eat only plant foods and drink only water before 12 p.m.? That way, after 12 p.m., you can eat and drink whatever you want. If before 12 p.m. doesn't work for your schedule, then what about after 12 p.m.? That way, before 12 p.m., you can eat and drink whatever you want. Now, for those of us who think it's easy, right, and you want to try Nature Day, well, guys, you may want to try to become a 3% vegan. That's right. Now, a 3% vegan is any person, man, woman, or child, who eats only plant foods and drinks only water only one day out of an entire month. Next is a 10% vegan. That could be the same person who eats only plant foods and drinks only water only 3 days out of an entire month. Next is a 17% vegan. That's any person, man, woman, or child, who eats only plants and drinks only water only 5 days out of an entire month. And lastly is the ultimate 23% vegan. Now, technically, that's what Coach D considers himself to be. So the question is, Coach D, what do you eat and drink for the first 7 days of every month? Well, guys, I only eat and drink from the 5 food groups of plant foods, which happen to be fruits, vegetables, nuts and seeds, legumes, and we cannot forget about whole grains. So there we have it, guys. We now know what Nature Day is all about. All right. Now, some of us may still have questions. Some of us may want to know, well, Coach D, who in the world should participate in Nature Day? Well, let's talk about it. So maybe you have some physical issues. Maybe you have some mental issues. And maybe you're tired of going to the doctor's office. Maybe you're tired of the prescription medications and the doctor's visits and the surgeries and all the different procedures, right? And so maybe, just maybe, you're looking for a natural, holistic approach to your healing. Well, if that's you, then please listen up. So maybe you've been stricken with the big 4, right? Meaning heart disease, obesity, cancer, and diabetes. Maybe you have skin issues such as pimples, whiteheads and blackheads, and eczema and psoriasis. Maybe you have disorders, such as leaky gut syndrome, irritable bowel syndrome. Maybe you have diarrhea. Maybe you're constipated, right? Or maybe you have mental issues, such as depression. Maybe you're bipolar. Maybe you're sad all the time. Maybe you're mad all the time. Well, guys, whatever the case may be, it's easy. Eat more plants, right? Maybe you're looking to change your physical appearance. Maybe you want to lose an inch from your hips and or waist. Or maybe you want to add on some lean, mean muscle tissue, right? Well, try our vegan lean and vegan bulk programs. Or maybe, just maybe, you want to transition from the standard American diet to a whole food plant-based diet. Why? Because you heard it was good for the environment. Why? Because you heard it was good to save animals, right? Well, guys, it's easy. Eat more plants. So there we have it. We now know exactly who Nature Day is for. All right. It's time for Coach D's tips. Now, the reason for my tips is because I'm offering a little bit of help, a little bit of advice to those of us who want to participate in Nature Day. So, tip number 1, go to your local grocery store. Now, when you get there, you're going to go to one of 3 places, or maybe all 3, or maybe 2 of the 3. Doesn't really matter. So, how about we visit the produce section, the freezer aisle, and the canned good aisle. Now, the reason why I'm having you visit these 3 places is because this is where our plant foods are going to be located. Now, a lot of people may say, well, Coach D, what's best, fresh, frozen, or canned? Well, guys, if I have to put it in any order, it's going to be fresh first, frozen is a very close second, And number 3, and I do mean dead last and third place, is canned. Now, the number one reason why I put canned plant foods in third place is because of this one fact, is that the canning process is part of the processing process, which means that unfortunately, a lot of nutrients are destroyed during the canning process and a lot of toxins are added. So you may end up eating more toxins than you are nutrients. So that's the primary reason why fresh first, frozen second, canned dead last. Tip number 2, go visit the prepared dishes section of your local grocery store. So when you're done with the produce section, the freezer aisle, and the canned good aisle, walk on over to the prepared dishes section. Now this is where you're going to find a glass see-through counter, and behind it you're going to find a lot of prepared dishes. That's right. And you also find someone behind the counter waiting to help you out. And usually the food is going to be sold by weight, right? Now, walk on over there and ask the attendant if they offer any plant-based options. If they do and you don't recognize it, or if you've never seen it before, then just go ahead and ask for a sample. Don't worry, it's free. Now, if you like it, go ahead, buy a pound of it, or maybe half a pound. However, if you're having, let's say, a dinner party, or maybe you're having friends over for the game, right? Go ahead and get 3, 4, maybe even 5 pounds. Why not? Everybody will love it. Tip number 3, go visit your local farmer's market. Now, farmers markets are amazing for one simple fact. They cater to the organic non-GMO market. That's right. So for those of us who love organic this and organic that, non-GMO this and non-GMO that, then the farmers market is definitely the place to be. Here's another great advantage of farmers markets. The produce is grown locally. That's right. So don't be surprised if the produce is cheaper at the farmers market than it is at your local grocery store. Tip number 4, go eat at your local vegan restaurants. That's right, guys. Now, some people are fully unaware that vegan restaurants actually exist. Well, guys, I'm here to let you know that they do. All you have to do is go to Google, type in vegan restaurants near me, and voila, Google will give you your desired results. Now, the number one reason why I recommend you eat at a vegan restaurant is because they hire vegan chefs who not only know how to cook plant foods so that they retain the majority of their nutrients, but they also know which plant foods to combine to yield the most nutritious, delicious dishes. That's right. And my last tip is to get a subscription to a vegan meal prep company. Now, these meal prep companies are amazing. Number 1, they make the food for you. Number 2, they deliver the food for you. Number 3, you eat the food. Yes, guys, it's just that simple. So, if you don't like to cook plant foods, or maybe you don't know how to cook plant foods, get a subscription to a vegan meal prep company. As I stated earlier, they make the food, they deliver the food, you eat the food. That's it, plain and simple. So there we have it, guys. 5 amazing tips to help make your nature day successful. All right, it's time for our question of the day, coming from yours truly and the rest of the 23% nation. We have inquiring minds. Today is a fill-in-the-blank question. So, blank most likely originated as a cross between turnips and wild cabbage. Now, I believe I covered this information earlier in the lecture, so if you got it, good. If you missed it, well, just simply rewind the video. That's all. And of course, write your answer in the comment box below. Guys, I want to thank you for watching. I definitely want to thank you for listening. As always, let's eat well, feel well, think well, do well, be well. This is your man, Coach D. Now, before I sign out, I gotta ask you to please subscribe, share, comment, and like the video, especially if you love rutabagas. Also, don't forget to use our 3-word mantra. It's hashtag EATMOREPLANTS. As stated earlier, my name is Coach D. I'm signing out. Always remember to take care, God bless, and never ever forget that Coach D loves you.